Hello, all you people in YouTube land. My name is Kenneth Lawton. I am the author of the book Echoes of Isolation, A Personal Journey Through the Pandemic. This channel has been around since the early days of YouTube. We're talking like when YouTube was like this little baby website that only supported low-res videos, and I really didn't have much use for it at the time. Maybe a couple of silly short films and some music, maybe some other random videos. But now I feel like I have a purpose, and my intention is to use this channel now to promote this book. I am not a YouTuber. I'm not a podcaster. I'm not even a presenter. I don't even have good enough equipment for such things. I don't even have the skill to memorize what I'm doing. I'm reading this off a script, which is why I keep on looking away from the camera. But what I do have is a good laptop with a decent webcam, and I do have a microphone, and I have a quiet room with some good lighting. Mostly what I have is the confidence to sit here and look at this camera as if I was all of those things. And, maybe, I don't know, who knows? Maybe I will continue doing this. Maybe I will become a YouTuber. But I'm not counting those chickens just yet because, I'm not going to quit my day job over this. Anyway, all of this hinges on what I post in this channel and whether or not people find it entertaining. That is what I'm really doing here right now. I'm actually proud of this book that I wrote. And when I was doing the writing all those years ago during the pandemic, I was writing for myself mostly because I wanted to document what was going on. And here we are almost 5 years later, and I went back to read what I had done, and I found myself entertained by it all. The book serves as a journal, yes, but it's also loaded with commentary about how things were going and the government response and the public response. For many events, it also serves as a historic account. It is my intention with this channel to not just sit here and talk about the book, but to do some reading from it. I had considered recording a full audiobook for this thing, but man, that is a lot of work. A side note about that, I tried to do some experiments using AI to do the reading, and wow, that was just a disaster. I definitely do not think that sort of thing is ready for prime time just yet. Even when I did it with a British accent, which was really amusing, it still was not good enough. So, I do have an inner dialogue while I'm writing all of this stuff, and I do have a pretty good idea what I want for it to sound like. So it kind of makes sense for me to be the one to do the reading. Still, I'm not going to go through the trouble of doing a full audiobook. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a couple of YouTube videos like this. I'm going to start today. I'm going to start reading from the beginning of the book. I'm going to do the introduction. I'm going to do the first, few pages of the first chapter and see how that goes and see if I get any response from this at all. I sincerely hope that you enjoy this. More than anything, I hope that you enjoy it well enough for me to do more. Introduction. Just about everyone alive today that is able to read this was around in 2020 when COVID-19 pandemic hit and changed our lives forever. Every one of us had a very similar experience during that time, but more importantly, we all had very different experiences also. As soon as it became clear that we were about to shut the entire world down, it occurred to me that I wanted to document this entire event. So I put in some time to revamp some existing code that I had, and I created a blog that was suitable to easily create entries every day. And so I did. For a little over a year, I wrote down what was happening. I did this every day. Much of it was mundane things around the house, but more of it was my experience with going out about town and seeing how people were acting and commenting on the public response. There was also, of course, a healthy dose of annoyance at how badly it was being handled, both by the government and the public. Right in the beginning, my wife made the suggestion that I should prepare this text for publication as an actual book. And I'm not really sure that I took that suggestion seriously at the time, but here we are 4 years later, and the subject came back up again. And I went back and I looked at what I had written all those years ago, and I determined that there was some value in that running log, partly because it's entertaining, but also because there is, in those words, a true first-person historical account of the most insanely effed up thing that has ever happened in this world. Well, here we are. If you're reading this, it's because I finished my preparation and I have indeed published this thing. The narrative for this does have a structure above just the entries listed in order. There were definite stages to this event, and the tone of the entries changes over time, and as such it is broken into chapters, for which I will have a small introduction written as I prepare this work. Each chapter is divided up by days. Each day has an intro, a date, and a title. So let's get started. Let us relive those glory days of the lockdown and isolation. Let us remember together the event that we all shared and yet had different impressions. Chapter 1, Social Distancing. Welcome to the very first chapter of this story. The story starts on the Monday morning when I first started working from home. We were notified on Friday that we would not be able to go back to the office for a couple of weeks, and at the time, didn't really know what was going to happen. So this begins before the actual lockdown. March 16th, 2020, social distancing, day 1, working from home. Oh yeah, great fun so far. It appears I will indeed be working from home for at least the next 2 weeks. This is upsetting because I actually like going to the office, but whether upsetting or not, I'll be setting up camp here in the house. In the meantime, as of 8 p.m., all businesses like bars, movies, gyms are closed until further notice. And Idris Elba has tested positive. I mean, come on, COVID-19, that's just wrong. Anyway, I did get a lot of work done today. I went back to the office and got one of my monitors because the little laptop screen, it might be fine for a day or two, but for 2 weeks, no. I also got this blog working. Much of the code for it was already written. I just repurposed it for this thing. It's good to be a nerd. March 17th, 2020, social distancing, day 2. Still working from home. It's about 9 a.m. as I make this post for today, and I'll likely get back to it later. I keep hoping that we're all going to wake up and get some spectacular news that we finally see the end of this nightmare, but obviously that hasn't happened yet. In fact, it seems to be the opposite. Okay, I'm back now. I just told Fark.com about this. Hello to all my friends at Fark. Off in the background, I'm hearing the news conferences, one after another, telling us all the same stuff that we already know. One thing I didn't know was that George Lucas can do sign language. Well, let's be honest here. I can't read sign language, but I'm pretty sure that he's saying, use the force. That's good advice anytime. March 18th, 2020, social distancing, day 3. And so begins another day. Morning. I went out and picked up some food last night. That was sad as hell, walking into the restaurant and all of the chairs are up on the table and the bar is empty. And the only person there was the bartender, understandably upset because it was St. Patrick's Day and the place should have been jumping. But for what it's worth, we intend to continue to order food out, partly because it's a good way to hold our food just in case this gets worse, but also because we want to patronize the local businesses that are in real danger of losing everything. So that is all for now. March 19th, 2020, social distancing, day 4. Still working from home. Of course. Once again, we wake up to, we still don't have this under control or know how long this will last. Thanks for that. Really have to stop myself from writing how frustrating this is because it seems to me that if you're reading this now, you're probably looking for a distraction. I've actually gotten a lot done the past couple of days, not only with actual work, because I really am working from home, but for my personal sites as well. There's also this 1,000-piece puzzle that my son and his girlfriend effectively abandoned a few months ago. It's taken about a day and a half to get to where we said, yeah, that's about how far we made it. Included is a nice picture there. My hope is that we can finish this puzzle before this is done. My fear is that we will have to buy a few more puzzles. That concludes my introduction to this channel and my reading for today. If you like what you saw here today and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends, tell your acquaintances, tell that guy down at the coffee shop that you think might like to read books, tell your enemies. I don't care who you tell. Anybody that you think might be interested. Also, if you're interested in actually reading the book that I've been reading from and you'd like to own a copy for yourself, links are provided down below. Thank you very much for watching all of this today. I hope you've been at least a little bit entertained, and I hope you come back for more. Thank you very much.